especially anyone in their 40s and 50s who have a dream, what advice would you give them?
It's never bad timing. It's always right timing. Right? Don't give up. Go for it. Don't ace yourself out of the game because you didn't even start it.
What's going on, everybody? This is indeed the E-Man, chilling like a villain, singing like Bob Dylan, keep it on the low with some double stuff Oreos. And I have an incredible guest here today. She's just an incredible person who lives by the motto that it's never too late to start anything. She is a retired dean. She's a wife. She's a sibling. She's a mom. She's a former Ross employee. Or do you still work at Ross? Last year, she became Sports Illustrated rookie model at the age of 57 years young. I am so honored. I'm so happy to have Dr. Nina Cash on the special delivery show. Nina Cash, everybody. Hey, what's going on?
Thanks for having me. What an intro. What an intro.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you so much for being on the show. We have a lot in common, actually. I think I've listened to one of your interviews, and I think you said you're the youngest of your siblings.
Yes, I am the youngest.
I am the baby too, and also you're Filipino heritage, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
According to 23andMe, I have some Filipino down the line as well. So I think that's pretty cool. I take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes. So, okay, I ask everybody, how's the weather? You're over there on the West Coast. How's everything?
Good. I'm in the LBC, so Long Beach City, and home of like Snoop Dogg, Cameron Diaz, Billie Jean King. Yeah, it's great. Today it's sunny. It's been raining, which we all need the rain, which I love, but it's sunny today, so it's quite beautiful outside.
Absolutely. It's like 70 degrees outside where I'm at. Now, I have a few friends on the West Coast. I
Yeah.
always ask them, okay, I'm going to ask you the same question. Is In-N-Out everything they say it is?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's great. Yeah. And I probably have In-N-Out because there's one like literally 2 minutes from my house. So my husband and I probably have In-N-Out at least like once every couple of weeks. It's good. It's fresh. I love it. Yeah.
We have something similar on over here in the South. It's called Cookout. And
okay.
And if you don't have a lot of money, it's pretty good because you can get like a cheeseburger, nuggets, and a drink for like $6. It's probably changed. I haven't been there in a while.
That's great.
And
Wow.
and they have like 60 flavors of milkshakes. It's incredible. Yeah.
60 flavors. Oh my gosh.
Yes, indeed.
Crazy. I love it.
Now I'm all about nostalgia. I love movies. I love music, right? And I always ask everybody, this is like an origin story type of a thing. What was your childhood like growing up in the LBC? And so with that, I always ask, growing up, what was your favorite cereal? What was your favorite Saturday morning show? If you have one.
It was great growing up in the LBC, and I'll kind of flip flop. So I'll tell you what one of my favorite shows was growing up. There was a couple, but I loved Schoolhouse Rock because that's how I learned about things was through Schoolhouse Rock. And then there was another show called Free to Be You and Me. And Marlo Thomas, it was like cartoons, and it was so powerful. Especially kind of being a minority in my neighborhood, kind of an all-white neighborhood. Actually, a little sad tidbit. When we moved into the neighborhood back in 1969, my dad had retired from being in the Navy for 30 years.
Wow.
His last station was in Long Beach, and my parents decided to retire. When we moved in on the block, my parents overheard some of the neighbors say, "Well, there goes the neighborhood." Ooh, cringe. But I will say, you know what? Although I grew up colorblind, I did not grow up culturally blind. there's a difference, right? There's
Yeah.
a difference. But we understood different cultures, especially as the neighborhood evolved after the late 60s into the 70s and 80s. It's just multicultural, and my upbringing was phenomenal. I had a wonderful upbringing. And again, it goes back to watching, like, and if you guys don't know this, check out, maybe you can get it on YouTube, Free to Be You and Me, with Marlo Thomas. And it's just all about, you know, understanding and embracing differences, who we are as people, not assuming that just the dad works. It's okay if the mom works as well and makes a
Oh
living.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. So,
Wait, so you said Marlo Thomas? She's
yeah.
related to Danny Thomas, right?
Yeah. And she
From
does the St. Jude's
yeah.
hospital things. Yeah. Hmm.
I remember the show uh Daddy I
Oh,
can't.
with her dad was on it. Yeah, Danny
Yes.
Thomas. Oh
Um,
gosh, was it like At Home with Daddy or
Make room for Daddy. That's it.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
it. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Favorite cereal. Did you have a favorite cereal growing up?
Rice Krispies.
Nice.
I did
Nice.
because I used to make the Rice Krispie treats.
Oh, yes.
And that's still like, as my husband jokes around, that's your crack. And I'm like, yeah, if someone's making Rice Krispies, I'm going to eat it.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
There's nothing like homemade Rice Krispie treats. It's something about, oh my gosh, I could
Yeah.
um so like you said, you're from the LBC. You went to the
Hmm.
same school as Cameron Diaz and Snoop Dogg. That's really
Yes.
cool.
Yes.
And but I wanted to know, since like you're the youngest of your siblings, if you could like uh use one word to describe each of them, what would you use? What yeah.
So my oldest brother, he's 16 and a half years older than me. I'm going to say that he is the studious adventurer.
Okay.
Uh, my sister is the the inquisitive. Oh gosh, she's inquisitive. She's like stable. I think she's inquisitive. I'm going to say that. And then my other brother, I'm going to say he's the creative, major creative.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Now, being that you're the youngest, well, it has for me is always been a thing of I was always the last to know about stuff. Like, as far as like family events and things like that. Now, it's improved over the years drastically, but
Yeah.
did you ever go through that growing up?
Well, it's interesting because so my parents had two kids in their 20s and two kids in their 40s, and I'm
Oh
the youngest.
wow.
So my eldest brother is like 16 and a half years older than me. My sister is 12 years older than me. And then there's my brother and I who are just 12 months apart. So it's almost like two sets of families, right? Two sets of kids. And then
Yeah.
my older brother and sister are like my second parents, right? Because
Oh,
they were older than us. So I view them in a more they were like my mentors, if you will. My
yeah,
parents
yeah.
were the disciplinarians, but my siblings, my older siblings, were like my mentors. And so they all took care of me. Growing up in a Catholic Filipino military family, we all knew the hierarchy. Dad was the captain of the ship.
Right.
Then there was mom, then I was the lowly seaman down here. So everybody had to kind of help me grow and protect me. So yeah, I think, I wasn't the last to know things. I think my family really nurtured me and cared for me, to help me spread my wings. So yeah.
That's beautiful. I kind of feel like my it's kind of the same way with my family. Whereas
Hmm.
my brother and my sister, um, they, you know, unfortunately my parents got a divorce, and my sister and I, who are only 5 years apart, we moved to North Carolina. Whereas my other sister, my father, and my brother, they stayed in New Jersey. So it was kind of like, it was rough, but it was like,
Yeah.
I always looked at them as like, mentors, like you said, or kind of like parental figures in a way. And
Yeah.
yeah, my brother, who's actually the same age as you are, you can never tell because he has more energy than I do. He loves house music. It's really great.
Nice.
Um,
Yeah.
I was listening to one of your interviews, and like I said at the beginning of this interview, I said that you have this motto, like it's never too late, but like that's been your whole mantra your whole life. It seems like you
Yeah.
educate people and people in their 40s and their 50s to like continue on with their education. Can you like it kind of elaborate on that?
Sure. I think I'm passionate about that because that was my trajectory, right, in life and certainly my education. So I actually I earned my bachelor's 20 years after I graduated high school, my
Wow,
master's 30 years after I graduated high school, and then at 55 I earned my doctorate in educational leadership.
that's
So
incredible.
I didn't go that traditional route,
Yeah.
okay? And I understand that, like, my mom's, I guess you could say like the boomer generation, they were like the hard workers, if you will, right? They did a lot of
Mm,
manual labor and different things like that. So they really instilled in their children to get a degree because they didn't want them to have to work with their hands, right? I mean, this is kind of known. There's been studies done on this. Um, but not everybody is meant to go straight to college after high school.
right.
Success looks different to people, to anybody, right? It shouldn't be like one road for everybody. So success for someone after high school could be joining the military, could
Mm-hmm.
be, getting a full-time job because you know what? They need to help to contribute to the family and paying the rent and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I think, me saying it's never too late to learn or, it's always right timing. Some people say it's just bad timing. I say, no, it's always right timing because things happen for you. They don't
Mm-hmm.
happen to you. So if we can think about that, doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. Then I think things would be a little bit easier for people. I think people unfortunately believe that it's like you have to have this lockstep, and if they don't go to college or excuse me, they don't go to college right after high school, then they haven't succeeded or they're a failure. When in fact that
Mm.
could, further from the truth. I mean, look at Steve Jobs. You look at people who didn't get a college, quote unquote, a formal college degree, and how wonderful they're doing or how successful they're doing. So
Yeah, that's incredible. Like one of the reasons why you didn't go that traditional way of going to college is because you became a mom, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So right after, high school, I dabbled into modeling, and I was in junior college. And then to be really honest with you, Manuel, I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Mm.
I honestly, you know, I was just, no, I don't want to say I was at a cross point in my life. I just honestly didn't say, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a nurse. Certainly when you're Filipino, like my brother, he was a president of, two community colleges in Southern California. And so he
Wow.
went the education route. He's also a doctor. My sister, she went into politics, working with a lot of politicians. My other brother knew exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to be a musical engineer. So he did all that sound technology and everything. And me, I was like, what do I want to do? And so I ended up just going to community college forever and ever, it seemed like. And then once I had some life under my belt, then I was able to narrow down kind of what I wanted to do. So
That that's beautiful. I love to hear that because, like you said, not it's like the theme song, the different strokes. Everybody's
yeah,
got a special kind of story. Man, those theme songs tell the truth, man. I'm telling you, man.
totally. Yeah,
You know,
100%. Yeah.
yeah, that's beautiful, man. Okay, so can you tell me about the audition? I mean, because anybody, going out for any audition for anything, especially Sports Illustrated, it's really brave. You know what I mean? I think it's brave to just go out there. I'm never going to the beach with my shirt off or whatever. You know what I mean? But you to go out there in a
I hear you.
sweatsuit, and it takes a lot of bravery, and then to do it, at at that point in your life is super brave. Can you tell me about the whole process and and how that all came to
Yeah.
be? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, growing up, and I reflect back to that Filipino military Catholic family,
Yeah.
very modest. So you wouldn't catch me in a two-piece. I'm just not like that. I'm a one-piece or a moo kind of gal. I'm just very, very oh gosh, modest is the great word to say, modest. And when I retired in 2022, I had an opportunity. I'd been working for the California State University system for quite some time, and I had an opportunity to retire. I did so. And this was like June of 2022, and I thought, well, what am I going to do? I was back to like, when I was first starting junior college. What do I do? What do I do?
Yeah.
And I thought, gosh, I have all these wonderful opportunities. Certainly, I was volunteering because I love to volunteer. I do a lot of volunteering at different organizations and nonprofits. And so I kind of dipped my toe back into the modeling world. Because I'd modeled when I was younger, I contacted some of the agencies that I'd worked with in the past and said, hey, I'm kind of want to get back into modeling. And by the way, I have gray hair now. I'm retired. I'm in my late 50s. They're like, perfect. I'm like, really? I'm like, perfect.
Yeah.
So I started going on castings, and then I found myself in Australia. My husband is Australian. And
Cool.
because of the pandemic, we hadn't been back in like 3.5 years, 4 years. So in December, we went to Australia to visit family. We're going to stay there a good like month and a half, 2 months. And of course, it's their summertime because they're the opposite of us. So it was their summertime. And I
Hmm.
had forgotten to bring a bathing suit. So we went to the local mall and was looking for bathing suits. And because it's their summer, they were kind of all out of anything in my size except for a two-piece leopard print bikini. And I was like, oh boy. But then I thought to myself, you know what? I'm just going to be with my husband. When we go to the beach, Emmanuel, it's early in the morning, sunrise, because we love to do our walks on the beach.
Yes.
And so it was January 1st or December 31st. Yeah, December 31st, and walking on the beach. And my husband was taking some like video and snapshots of me. And, I said, okay. And that night after dinner and a couple of glasses of, wine, we're going through his phone. And I'm like, hey, not too shabby for a retired old lady with gray hair. And we just had a good chuckle about it. And I jokingly said, I'm gonna submit to Sports Illustrated swimsuit, just kind of joking.
Nice.
Because I had heard that Kathy Jacobs, I saw it like on a news show that Kathy Jacobs a few years prior was 57 years old and was the first model to be in her 50s to, I guess, be in Sports Illustrated. So not thinking that there was ever even a chance for me to apply when I went online, come to find out they had their application period and they had extended it to January 1st. And so, literally on a whim, I cobbled together a video and the unedited snapshots, these goofy snapshots of me in a bikini, and sent it in and forgot about it. Truly.
Wow.
Because I didn't think, like, it was like on a whim, and, I'm retired, I'm doing stuff. And 3 months later, I get an email. Congratulations, you made the top 24. And I thought it was my daughter and husband playing a joke. Like they created like a SI swimsuit at Gmail account or something, but it wasn't a Gmail account. It literally came from them. And then the rest is history. So yeah, it was cool. Really
that
cool.
that is really cool. The one of the coolest things about that story is you went to Kmart to get that swimsuit. Anybody else, it
Totally.
probably would have discouraged them to do anything. But you said, I'm going to do this, and you still went on it. That's awesome. That is
Yeah.
so awesome. When I opened up the Sports Illustrated issue, I was at Books a Million, and I was so impressed by that issue that you're in because there's so many beautiful women and some from so
Yes.
many different walks of life, and I see you and you're embracing your locks and you look great, and I just want to commend you on that, man. I mean, because it's like
You.
I think it's really really beautiful. And so yeah, we're also Generation X, both of us, and I feel like our generation is really special because I feel like we have technology now that we can,
Yeah.
but we appreciate the technology because we know what we had to do back in the day
Ah.
to get the things
Oh,
that we wanted. You know what I mean?
100%. And like, never in a million years did I think that a person like me who looked like me, and then add my age, add the silver gray hair, would be in
Mm,
Sports Illustrated. Never. That would have never crossed the sphere of any thoughts that I would have. Going back to the 80s again, on the early end of the Gen X. I was born in 1966. So you know how we grew up. I would never see that. It kind of goes back to that whole thing, sadly, there goes the neighborhood, right? When I moved into my neighborhood. So how wonderful that Sports Illustrated and a lot of other big named enterprises and entities are embracing and welcoming this and saying, no, yeah, we're all beautiful in all shapes and forms, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Not this cookie cutter anymore. So yeah, I felt really honored, really, and I still do, still do.
Yeah. Because I remember back in the 90s and 80s, man, when those swimsuit issues would come out, I mean, nothing against the people that were in there, but they
Yeah.
pretty much all look the same, like Cindy Crawford, Kathy Ireland, and all of those other people. But now it's just, I'm glad that, like you said in the interview, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and everybody
Yes,
has different views. It's awesome.
exactly. It's not a cookie
Yes,
cutter anymore, so it's kind of cool.
yes, absolutely. I have to ask because okay, on your Instagram, you were on American Bandstand. You had the opportunity to kind of chat with Dick Clark, who I feel like is a legend. What was that like?
He's amazing. He was so cool. He really was. So my brother and I, we were lucky enough to be like the brother and sister team that danced on it a lot.
Wow.
And this was like late 80s, early 90s. This was like, can't remember if they were like on ABC and then they switched over to another station. But my brother and I were like the high school brother and sister team, if you will, that did all the promos for moving to the new station as well.
Mm-hmm.
But he was so great to his dancers, and he was just so much fun. I got to see so many bands up close. It was like unreal.
Wait,
Unreal. Like
like
they were
who?
like right there. Oh my goodness, the list goes on. Madonna, Culture Club. I have a story about Janet Jackson because Janet is the same age as me, and this is when she just came back out with like her album and everything, right? And
Okay, like
she
during
was
Control.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
She's like amazing. So she did her number and then we were on a break and I wanted to go outside and we're shooting at ABC Studios. And so there's like these big heavy doors, right? Because it's in like a sound studio. And so I'm like pushing the door to get out of the studio because I wanted some fresh air. And I accidentally bumped Miss Jackson. Yes, I did. But I will say she was the sweetest. I mean, she was like, "Oh, don't worry, Ben, it's all good." And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." Now, mind you, we're the same age, and I'm not worthy, Janet. I'm not worthy. I'm like, she's
That
like,
is so cool.
I know. And then I remember Alyssa Milano, she was filming. Yeah, she's so cool. She was filming, what was the show that she was on with Tony Danza?
Who's the boss?
Who's the Boss? Yes, because
Yeah.
we were filming at ABC Studios. So she was filming at another like lot. And so she wanted to come and just check out American Bandstand. And she just wanted to dance. So
Wow.
she was like one of the dancers. And I remember they had like these big dressing rooms for us that
Mm-hmm.
people would dress in and they had like partitions and stuff. And of course, I was more shy and modest. So I would get my clothes and I would go into the bathroom and I would change in one of the stalls.
Oh
And I
wow.
remember like she didn't want to be in that big, huge mess. So I told her, follow me. And so I was in one stall and she was in the other stall changing. And then she's like, oh, shoot, I don't have any socks for my shoes. So I loaned her my socks. So that was my claim to fame with Alyssa Milano.
What?
My socks. I know.
Oh
It was
my
so funny, but
gosh.
I
Oh,
know. But like, to a high school kid, it's fun. It was magical. It was fun. It was
okay.
cool.
I have to. Okay, that's really all. First, I had the hugest crush on Alyssa Milano. I just want to say that real quick. Also, for people who are, and I've said this before on my podcast because I had talked to a previous guest and he hit the one of his big breaks was involved Dick Clark. And I was telling him, I was like, people who are younger don't understand how much of a legend he was because what Ryan
Yeah.
Seacrest is doing now, what Mario
It-
Lopez is doing now, Dick
yeah.
Clark kind
Yeah.
of already did. You know what I mean?
Right.
And yeah, that dude was a legend. So that's really cool. You were in the Beastie Boys video too. Whoa, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
What
That
was
was
that
so much
like?
fun. Oh, they were goofy and fun, man. They were such nice guys. You know, they had that persona of being like punky and stuff like that, but they were super cool. And I remember, what, gosh, was it Mike D? I think it was Mike D. No, yeah, I think it was Mike D who was telling me about his mom. And I happened to work in special ed at the time, even though I was modeling my younger years, I still was, you know, going to school and I was working with the special ed population as well. And so his mom was a special ed teacher. So we got to
Wow.
talk about, yeah, so that was kind of cool. And yeah, they were a hoot, needless to say. They
Well,
were a lot of fun. That video shoot was, yeah, brings back a lot of great memories. And I just found out, well, I just didn't find out, but I'm also in their documentary that just came out like 3 years ago or 4 years ago.
that's
Someone told
cool.
me that they have a video clip of me in the Beastie Boys video in the documentary. So
That's
it's
so
kind of
cool,
fun.
man.
Yeah.
That is so cool. All right. So, everything in your life that you have accomplished. First of all, I want to say props to you. I think you said during COVID, you decided to work at Ross clothing store, right? I think that's really cool because I believe everybody in their lifetime should either do retail and or do fast food
100%.
because that allows you to have empathy. So whenever I go to a fast food place or wherever and they're having a hard time, I automatically think, oh, they're probably shorthanded or anything because I've been
Mhm.
there and I know how
Yep.
hard it can be. So I just want to give you props for doing that. And do you still work? Are you still employed through Ross? Do you do it part
No,
time or?
no, I got too busy with the modeling thing. And it was, let me tell you a real quick story about the Ross and why I started to work at Ross. So it's like, it's actually right next door to the In-N-Out Burger, close to my
Oh,
house.
nice.
And so, you know, working at the university, you know, right around COVID time, it was very stressful, needless to say. It was
Mm,
stressful for so being, you know, an associate dean, my role is all operational, right? The operations of everything. So very, very stressful. And I remember coming home to my husband saying, you know, I would just love to have a job that's kind of mindless where I don't bring the stuff home with me, right? And
yes.
so I jokingly said, you know, like I would love to work at Ross. Not that those people that work at Ross are mindless, but I would love to work in the stock room. Okay, that's just unpacking things and just getting into a groove that way.
Mm,
And so I said, I'm going to apply to Ross. So I went online and applied. Now, here's the deal. I didn't put down my work experience because I was still employed. I was an associate dean at a university. I did not put down my education either. Okay.
right.
But they called me in because, you know, they needed help. And so I had my interview and I got hired and I worked I worked the graveyard shift, which was 4
Ooh.
a.m. to 8 a.m. Normally it's like 12 to 8, but I worked 4 a.m. to 8 a.m.
Okay.
Like 1 or 2 Saturdays a month. And man, talk about retail therapy. I was so calm because you know what, Emmanuel? When I put those towels on the shelf, they
Yes.
can't talk back to me. They
Exactly.
can't talk back to me. They're just gonna stay on the shelf. Okay. When I put the pants on the rack, they're not gonna complain that they didn't get their grade on time. They're just gonna stay on the rack. And I had to see things to completion. So yeah, it was good. It was great. And I got a discount because you know I have a black belt in
Nice.
medicine shopping. So that was good. So yeah.
So is it a warehouse or is it an actual store?
Actual store. So
Okay.
there, you know, when they get shipments in, they have like a warehouse behind the actual floor where they sell the items. And so we have to unpack things and then we certainly have to put them out on the selling floor. That's what I
Okay.
did.
That's
Yeah, and I
very
got
cool.
my
Like
10,000 steps in. So that was good.
yes. You do a lot of walking and like I said, I think everybody in their lifetime at least once should do something like that. What okay, so I forgot to ask. What do your kids think about you being the Sports Illustrated or even your whole family as a whole? What do they think about it?
Oh gosh, they were so excited for me and thrilled and certainly supportive. And I have to say that, you know, some people have reported that my husband was the one that submitted my pictures and forced me to do it. That could be further from the truth. My husband encouraged me, he said, if you want to do it, great. But he certainly didn't push me to do it. My daughters just think it's fabulous. They're the ones who came up with Slay the Gray.
No.
Gone gray and still slay.
Yeah.
They're like, go for it, mom. And it's like, it's never too late. It's like, it's so awesome. And so, yeah. And then my siblings and my family and friends are just as happy for me and thrilled. My best friend came with me when I walked in Miami Swim Week and was cheering me on. And, my other folks that couldn't come to Miami with me, they were certainly cheering on when they were doing the live streaming. So,
That's
yeah.
that's
Been
beautiful.
surrounded by love. I was surrounded by love and still am.
That's awesome. Now you said your husband's from Australia, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, and you've been to Australia. I have a friend that lives in Australia, and I always say, man, you're so brave, man, because the creatures there. And so, have you ran into any like when you were there? Did you ever have to like? I know there's huntsman spiders, there's white-tailed
Yeah.
spiders, there's and he said on the beach there's these like little small jellyfish that are really dangerous.
Yeah.
Micro, yeah. Have you had any encounters or any creatures during your visits?
No, knock on wood, no.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
God.
I've gotten to hold a koala, which was
Ooh,
lovely, and they smell like eucalyptus. But I haven't run into any creatures that have, startled me or freaked me out. No, seen like kangaroo up close and personal. Like I've petted them. Gone to the Currumbin Sanctuary, which is close to our home in Australia, where you can hold a koala and some of the other animals there. But yeah, it's beautiful. If you ever have a chance to go, go
yes.
100%. But realize that it's like a 15-hour flight. So you just kind of settle in. You
Ooh.
just kind of settle in,
That is a long flight.
download a bunch of movies to watch. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of which, is there a movie that you love that you could like one of your favorite movies that you could watch over and over again?
Kung Fu Hustle.
Kung Fu
Kung
Hustle?
Fu Hustle. Oh, it's so good. It's just a take on like martial arts and just like cartoons and well, I don't want to say it's a cartoon, but just like some special effects in it. It's hilarious. So you guys gotta watch it, Kung Fu Hustle.
Wait,
So good.
isn't that the one where the guy kind of uses like squirrels as nunchucks?
No, no, it's a different.
Okay,
It's different. Yeah.
okay.
And then also Long Kiss Goodnight with Gina Davis and Samuel L. Jackson, one of
I
my
love
all-time
that movie.
so good. So good.
So there's been so many like movies like that since then, but yeah, I love that movie a lot. Um, okay, so to anyone, especially anyone in their 40s and 50s who have a dream and they're like, I don't know if I want to do it, and what advice would you give them? Because you have a lot of people, especially in the entertainment industry, who like don't actually start doing things until to their later age. So, and any advice for those people?
It's never bad timing. It's always right timing. And just go for it. Right? Don't give up. Go for it. Don't ace yourself out of the game because you didn't even start it. Right? You're going to get a
Okay.
lot of no's. And while you're getting a lot of no's, keep clapping for others until it's your
Yes.
turn. Simple as that. Keep
Okay.
clapping for others and cheering them on till it's your turn. I think I said this before. Things don't happen to you, they happen for you.
Mm,
Sometimes when we're in it, we just can't see it, right? It's
yes.
because we're so in the weeds and it's like the pity thing. And so yeah, I just say just go for it, try it. And if it doesn't work out the first time, that's okay. There's a lesson to be learned. And hopefully you'll see that lesson and understand that lesson and embrace that lesson, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because I'm convinced, Manuel, that if you don't experience the bad, you will never be able to truly appreciate all that is good because you will never have that comparison. Because
Yes.
if everything is always status quo and great, you will never be able to fully appreciate it because
Mm,
you've never had the bad, right?
yeah.
Um, what was it? Grandma Moses, she started painting at 77. She's one of the famous folk artists of our time.
Hmm.
Apple Wong Odd, she was on the cover of Philippine Vogue at the age of 106.
Wow.
106 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, I was 56, right?
Yeah.
57. So I still got at least 40 some odd, 49 more years to be on the cover of Vogue, right? So
Yeah.
just go for it, guys.
That's
Absolutely.
that's beautiful and that's great advice. How can people reach you through your social media platforms?
Oh yeah, so I'm at Nina Cash or at Nina Cash. And then I'm just on social media. I just started TikTok not too long ago, so it's the same Nina Cash on my TikTok account. So please DM me. Happy to, if anybody has any questions about the Sports Illustrated journey, by the way, they are accepting applications right now. The
Mm,
deadline is March 31st. So all my silver sisters, come on, represent. Let's
yeah.
go. For sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. Such an honor to be able to talk to you today. And you have you have a great energy, you have a great smile, and just
Thank you.
keep doing what you're doing, okay?
I appreciate that. And thank you for asking me and having asking me to be on your show and then having me on your show. It's been a pleasure. Thank
Yeah,
you so much.
anytime. And I hope you have an amazing day and enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy this wonderful weather while we have it.
Yes, exactly right.
Yes. All
Thank
right.
you so much.